Elena had always been a shy girl, the kind of young woman who kept her head lowered when strangers tried to meet her eyes, who avoided crowds, and who spoke softly as if every word she said had to be carefully weighed before leaving her lips. She wasn't used to drawing attention, nor did she ever want to. Her world was small, contained, and safe within the boundaries of her books, her classes, and the few friends who understood her quiet nature. But there came a day when she could no longer avoid something every young woman eventually had to face, her first visit to the gynecologist. The very thought made her stomach twist in knots. She had delayed it for months, telling herself it wasn't urgent, convincing herself that she was fine, but her mother's gentle insistence and her own growing unease finally forced her to make the appointment. The clinic was far grander than she expected, with gleaming white floors, the faint scent of antiseptic in the air, and a receptionist who spoke with professional politeness. Elena clutched her purse tightly against her body, her palms clammy, as she whispered her name to check in. She thought she'd be led to an older doctor, maybe a stern woman with glasses or an elderly man with decades of experience written in the lines on his face. But when the nurse finally opened the door and led her into the consultation room, Elena froze. Sitting at the desk, dressed in a crisp white coat with a stethoscope around his neck, was not the kind of doctor she imagined at all. He was young, strikingly so, with a sharp jawline, neatly styled hair, and eyes that seemed both serious and kind at the same time. His presence was commanding yet comforting, and it immediately unsettled Elena. Her cheeks flushed red, and she found herself fumbling with the strap of her bag, wishing she had been more prepared for this moment. "Miss Elena," the doctor's voice was smooth, calm, with just the right warmth to put a nervous patient at ease. "Please, take a seat. You don't need to worry. You're in safe hands here." His smile was professional, not mocking, yet it only made her heart race faster. She lowered herself onto the chair, feeling the weight of his gaze, not in an uncomfortable way, but in the way that made her aware of herself more than ever before. He introduced himself as Dr. Adrian, a specialist in women's health, and asked her gentle, routine questions. Elena could barely form coherent answers, her voice coming out in small whispers as she tried not to look directly into his eyes. Everything about him was disarming, the confidence in his tone, the ease with which he explained medical terms, the patient way he waited for her to respond. She thought of him as someone too perfect, too out of place in this sterile environment, as if he had walked out of a dream or a film instead of belonging to the reality of her nervous appointment. When the examination began, Elena felt her anxiety reach its peak. Her fingers clasped tightly together, her knuckles white, her breathing shallow. She had dreaded this moment for so long, and now, sitting under the soft glow of the examination room's lights, she thought she might actually faint from the pressure of it all. But Dr. Adrian was patient, guiding her through every step with calm reassurance. He didn't rush, he didn't act dismissively, and he never let the silence feel heavy. Instead, he spoke softly, explaining what he was doing, asking if she was comfortable, making sure she understood. To her surprise, the nerves slowly began to fade, replaced by a fragile kind of trust. For the first time since she had entered the clinic, Elena felt a small sense of relief. Yet something about him didn't quite add up. She noticed details she couldn't ignore, the expensive watch that peeked from beneath his sleeve, the subtle cologne that wasn't the kind of scent doctors usually wore, the way the nurses treated him with a respect that went beyond mere professionalism. It was as though there was more to him than just a doctor in a white coat. Elena tried not to think about it, reminding herself she was here for her health, nothing more. Still, curiosity began to grow in the back of her mind. Who was this man who carried himself with such authority at such a young age? How could someone so young already command such confidence, such quiet power? She shook the thoughts away, telling herself she was being silly, and focused instead on his instructions. When the appointment ended, Elena stood on unsteady legs, her heart still pounding but for different reasons now. She muttered a soft "thank you," her eyes darting to the floor, but Dr. Adrian only smiled and reminded her she had nothing to fear. As she left the clinic, she passed by the parking lot, and that was when she saw it. A sleek, black luxury car parked near the entrance, the kind she had only ever seen in magazines or movies. It gleamed under the fading sunlight, drawing stares from everyone who walked past. Elena paused, her steps faltering, as she watched Dr. Adrian stride toward it with effortless ease, slipping into the driver's seat as if he belonged there. The engine purred like a beast, and in seconds, the car was gone, leaving Elena standing frozen with her thoughts. She had come for a simple appointment, but she left with her mind in turmoil. Who exactly was this doctor? Why did he live like someone out of a different world entirely? For the first time in her life, Elena felt curiosity strong enough to battle her shyness. She didn't know it yet, but this was only the beginning of a story that would change her life forever.